Alright, welcome back to Driveway. Today we're going to take a couple moments to help clear out this side here so we can get everything staged for the winter build. But then we're going to tackle some of the things on the Crossfire. So right now we're just kind of putting a little booster cables on this shelf here, and then getting rid of the rest of the shelves on this wall. So that way we only have the one that's up about 8 feet or so. So essentially what I'm doing is just drilling a hole in the top of my board and then coming up and doing the same in the rafters. Alright, so as you can probably see, cleaning day has turned into practically cleaning week. So I've been trying to get over back to the Crossfire to finish buttoning that up and finishing off the final touches, but kind of had more cleaning. Then a heat wave showed up, so instead, what I ended up doing was staying in the house and figuring out the whole drawings for the boat that we're going to build. So, I suppose we can probably take a quick peek at them and see what I did and why I rebuilt the plans. Alright, so here's the plans as they came. Nothing too horribly special. They did fold it, which I think is ridiculous. You would think that if you paid for plans and then paid for shipping on top of that, that they could roll it up neatly and put it in a actual blueprint tube or something. But I guess they just want to cash in the little bit of sales that they can make. So anyways, this is actually one of the Glen-L squirt plans. Now the squirt is actually a really small little guy. It's like 10 feet long and 4 feet wide at its widest. So if you think about it, it's good for kid size or one fat person. So not exactly built for my fat self and shoving someone else in there. So I decided I'm going to make something closer to a mega squirt. So what I ended up doing was I took all these segments that they have written out and planned out, and I redrew every single one of the pieces. Probably a little bit hard to see, but each plan and segment, you can see it right there, I redrew to a different scale. As a general point, I went and scaled it to basically made it 25% bigger, kind of all around. But their plans specifically tell you that it's not a wise idea to increase the beam or width of these plans, because there's certain things that you have to take into account. So on this plan, you have a reinforcement at the keel, and then there's a reinforcement batten at 5.5 inches from the keel, and then from 5.5 inches over again, there's another batten, and then close to that 5.5 inches, you end up at the chine. So these are the structural parts of a boat. So the 1/4-inch plywood that this stuff is made out of, there's really only 5.5, 5.25, somewhere around there, inches in between that it has to support. Now, since I widened this section, I widened it an entire 6 inches, I had to place another batten in there, which could potentially cause some issues further up on the frames as the battens start being phased out. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that works out. But by adding that extra batten there, I'm still keeping the same 5 or so inches in between supports. So that's probably why they tell you not to widen it, is if you just widen the spaces in between there. So say you go from 5-inch support, suddenly you're at 7 inches of support, you're going to have a lot less support and your hull could start flexing, since it's really only made out of 1/4-inch plywood. So all in all, I added 6 inches to each half, so that's, as a whole, it'll be 5 foot wide instead of 4 foot wide. And then I added 2 inches to the height of it. There's a term for that, but I can't place that right now. Freeboard, maybe? Something like that. So I added a couple inches there, so it'll actually be a touch higher off the water. Made it so there's a little more room for putting chairs and getting my large self in there. And then we're going to lengthen it probably maybe 2 or 3 feet. So the next size up in this runabout wood style that they have is a zip, and that's a 14-foot long, but it's got an additional seat in the back. So it's essentially, you take this, make it 5 foot wide, add 4 feet to it, and then add another seat. And that seat makes up the extra 4 feet. So if we extend this maybe 3 feet, I can put something like a sideways jump seats in the back there. Hopefully have enough room so there could be like possibly a space in between, so you can walk between the front and the back. So that way, if you need to look at the outboard, you don't have to crawl over top of everything. We could probably shorten up that transom hole a little bit, but essentially that'll make us a mega squirt, which is halfway in between a squirt and the zip. And then you could even go one bigger from the zip. I think that's like a Mulaney or something along those lines, and then there's even next step bigger. But we're trying to keep this on the cheap, and hopefully we can finish this without much effort. It's like some of the videos I found online building the zip, they're blowing nearly 10 grand on these things, and I hope that we're not even going to be a fourth of that. So we're going to have to work really frugal. From the initial look at it, it's only going to be about $800 or $900 in the wood materials. Then we've already got the outboard. So all that we really have to then figure out is fuel, steering, and how we're going to finish the boat itself. So finishing the boat's probably going to add another $500 on top of that. So roughly we're working with a budget of about $2,000 for this whole boat setup, and we'll just have to see how well we get with that. Anyways, I guess I am out of time. It's been a long couple days cleaning up this disaster a little bit, and then with the heat it kind of takes it right out of you. So hopefully this coming week we're supposed to have some nice cool weather. I can hopefully start tackling some of the things I've been ignoring around here, and we can get rolling on some more fun. So anyways, thanks again for stopping by and watching, and hopefully we'll see you again later.